Welcome to Intuitive Alchemy, where we recode your reality from the inside out. I'm your host, Sydney, trained intuitive, energetic alchemist, and certified hypnotherapist. And this podcast is here for the woman who is done playing small. Here, we go deep into energy, identity, universal law, source truths, and the neuroscience behind what actually creates lasting change. No fluff, no filters, just conversations that shift your frequency and call you back to the most powerful version of you, the one who knows it was always her and it can only be gotten from her. Let's get into it. Hello and welcome back to Intuitive Alchemy. I'm here with a little alchemy hit, and we'll just have to do a little experiment and see if I can keep this under 15 minutes, because I kind of think that I can't, but we shall see. I don't think you're going to mind if it's over 15 minutes, because this is a really important topic to talk about, especially in the spiritual, energetics, healing realm, especially as more and more people start to become healers and coaches and intuitives. And so none of what I'm about to say is me just like talking shit on people. This is just like truly the things that I would look out for. And I've heard this question come up a few different times in different containers that I'm in. And so I just started thinking like, okay, what to me is a red flag, and what would deter me from working with someone, and what kinds of things are just a big no-go for me. And so I made a little list, and that's what we're going to talk about today, is what to look for in a healer, a coach, an intuitive, and then, you know, how to spot the red flags as well, because there are so many incredible energy workers and healers and intuitives and just really powerful souls to work with out there. But sometimes it can be kind of hard to tell, because someone could be like, have the absolute best marketing or the prettiest posts, or they could be really well spoken, like on a podcast or something, you know, they have really cool courses, programs, and you're like, oh, I'm drawn, but like, are they the best person to work with? And that's ultimately for you to feel out and decide. And you know, there may be people that I work with that you may totally not resonate with, and vice versa. And that's also okay. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. There is definitely something to be said for the fact that your frequency is going to resonate with people that doesn't resonate with other people. And I could record this podcast and then verbatim send the script or the translation to someone else, and they record it, and it resonates with a completely different audience than mine did. So there is definitely, like, it's not a one size fits all, and that's beautiful and amazing. But all right, let's get into it. Let's get into the topic. There is a fine line between guidance or coaching or mentorship and manipulation. And in today's world, as I mentioned, with spiritual coaching and intuitive healing, you really do just need to know how to spot the difference and how to trust yourself about that. Because like I said, sometimes it's going to be a little trickier, because you're like, oh, but their stuff looks good. So you need to know what to look out for and what to feel. What's the feeling that you want to feel from someone that you are potentially going to invest in working with? And even if it's not an investment, maybe it's just like you're listening to their podcast, or you're listening to their free content, or even just low ticket offers, you still don't want to be investing in anything that's not ultimately like of your highest good. So, okay, let's get into it. The first red flag is that they try to create dependence on them. Like you depend on them. You need them. You're made to feel like, and maybe they even outright say it. That would be pretty wild, but you're made to feel like you need them in order to heal or progress. And you feel you could, after you have like a session or some kind of an interaction, like if your power feels like outsourced or a little leaky, like even maybe like this might be a little bit more extreme, but even more like they're siphoning your light and your energy, whether it be intentional or unintentional, that is a huge red flag. How do you feel after you interact with them? Do you feel like they tried to make you feel like you need them and like you can't do this work without them? Red flag for me. Because then really it's not freedom, it's not liberation, it's not like actually healing. It's more of just like, no, you're good if you've got me, but if you don't, and if you don't pay me, then like you're not going to be good. And that's toxic. And I just would never, as someone who is an energy healer and I do a lot of alchemy work, I'm close to becoming a medical astrologer. I am a trained intuitive. I give intuitive readings. As someone who provides these services, I would literally never want someone to completely and fully depend on me for their healing. Like, oh my God, what a huge level of responsibility that is not mine to take on. Like, it is your job and your responsibility to take responsibility of your healing and your life. Why would I want to take that power away from you? And like, of course, yeah, I would love it if you resonated with the content that I created, or, you know, any new program that I create. Like if you were interested in, you know, taking it or whatever, like amazing. But I do not want you to need me, essentially, because at the end of the day, that's going to damage my energy, because then I'm like leaking energy everywhere myself. So if I get that vibe from an energy worker or a healer or a coach or a mentor, if I get the vibe of like, this person wants me to believe that I need them, no. Because there's a difference in when someone is just so incredibly rooted in their work and their self-image and their self-love that they just have this incredibly powerful magnetism about them, and you feel, without them having said anything to you, you just feel so drawn to them and you're like, I want what they have. Like, that is different from what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about you're drawn to them and you just feel like they're the best of the best and you want to work with them. That is a natural thing that happens when you have high self-image and you're super rooted into like what you're providing. The service or product that you're providing is so freaking good, like that you totally believe that everyone would benefit from it, and then that creates magnetism. So that is, like I said, different than making someone feel like they need you because of the words that you have said to them. So I just want to differentiate there, because there's plenty of people that I feel super, super drawn to. And I'm like, I need what they have. Like, they have it figured out and I want to work with them. But that does not mean that that's a red flag. So I hope that differentiation like makes sense. I'm sure it does. You're intelligent people. You get it. All right, red flag number 2 is like, they just kind of do all this like spiritual jargon and they just like overuse buzzwords and like these big spiritual words. Like they're just always talking about like frequency and quantum this and da 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 da. Like they're just, which obviously, yes, those words mean something, like they really do, and I use those words as it's necessary. But if they're just kind of constantly using these vague claims like, we did some quantum work and I alchemized blah 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 blah, like it's just, okay, but what the fuck does that mean? Like, what did you actually do, you know? And then like, if you ask a question Like, what exactly is your method? Or like, when you say that you're doing this energy healing on me, like, what are you doing? And they can't answer you like very clearly or they just don't want to answer you very clearly of like, this is what I do, which this also goes into red flag number 3 of they gatekeep the work. Like, let's just combine them. So number 2, they use a lot of buzzwords with zero clarity. And then number 3, they gatekeep the work. If they won't teach you what they're doing and tell you what they're doing, red flag. If they're like kind of, well, I do this, but like you can't do this because your frequency isn't as high as mine, or you just like wouldn't understand, it's too complicated, like I could try to explain it, but it really wouldn't make sense to you. That's elitist. That's like putting a spiritual hierarchy. And to be honest, like, fuck that, because yeah, we're all at a different level of frequency, and maybe this person like truly is just such an incredibly old soul that they do understand and practice things that you couldn't yet. Like, maybe, who's to say, maybe that's true, but that's just, it's like spiritual elitism. It's exclusive. And it's not that you need to, like, maybe you have no interest. Maybe you're like, no, I literally just want you to do the energy healing for me, and like, I don't want to learn it. Okay, cool. But like, will they even tell you what they're doing? If no, for me, huge red flag. And I also just have the type of personality where like, I don't want to need you, and I want to learn what you're doing so I can do it for myself, which obviously that can be, I guess, maybe threatening to some people, because then they're like, well, then what are you going to need me for? Well, like, that's the whole point, like, I don't want to need you forever. Other people will need you. Like, other people will discover you and need you, but I don't want that to be me. I want to learn what I can learn and then be totally independent and continue to hone my skills and grow my education, of course, and fine tune the work that I do. But I don't want to still be doing the basics like years into it and just trusting that someone else is going to do the work for me. No, I want to do it myself. What if I'm in an emergency and it's like, 11 p.m. and I need some energy work done? I don't want to have to be like, well, my healer's off call right now, like I can't contact him or her. No, I have that power within myself, and I know that because of all this work that I've done, but not everyone does realize that. And so that is why it's a huge red flag for me if a healer or intuitive or mentor or coach won't ask those or answer those kinds of questions, and they're just kind of like really vague about it and gatekeepy, and you're just like, okay, you're either afraid that I'm going to stop paying you, or you don't even know really what you're doing enough to explain it. And both of those are a red flag to me. So last one here is they don't practice good energetic hygiene and clarify who they're connecting to in this energy work. Okay. So, and this goes for just regular energy healing and intuitive reads. If you're receiving an intuitive read from someone, or even this could even go for like, if you're someone who likes to get tarot readings or something, which like, that's not me, but if that is you, like, even that matters, because I do not want any information from any source that is not my higher self, God, source, creator, or like my soul or my creator field, my electromagnetic field, aka my manifestation field. I do not want it if it's not from the highest light and of my highest good. And unfortunately, there are so many dark energies and entities that someone could be connecting to and not even realizing it if they don't know how to connect to only source, light, divine intelligence, higher self. And that is not something like like you have to do that. You have to intentionally do that. It's not something that just happens, because those darker energies and entities will absolutely like feed on someone who doesn't do that, and they will connect and they will give you bad information and they'll just really fuck with you. So that's what they're counting on, is someone not having good energetic hygiene. So I would absolutely literally never get a reading from or work in any kind of capacity energetically with someone who does not have a really good knowledge and understanding of energetic hygiene. And I would want to know specifically how they're connecting and who they're connecting to before I would trust or want to receive or trust any information coming. And then this last thing, this is not a red flag. This is just like kind of a little piece of information, a little FYI about intuitives, is whenever you are receiving a reading from an intuitive, we can only intuit from our own frames of reference or our own knowledge base. So that is why finding someone to read you intuitively that shares the same kinds of values and interests, and like, or expertise, has a background of a specific kind of expertise or specialty, is gonna make a big difference. So here's an example. I am healing from Hashimoto's. That's an autoimmune disorder. However, for a while, it was undiagnosed, and I knew something was wrong with me. Like, I knew that I was experiencing symptoms that were very undesirable, but nothing was coming up about like the medical, like the blood tests and everything were coming back normal, quote unquote normal. And I knew that there was something going on that was going undetected, and I knew that like my body, there was something that I was missing, that everyone was missing. And so if I had gone and had an intuitive reading to try and figure out what the heck is going on with my health and my body, and the intuitive had never heard of Hashimoto's or like autoimmune disorder, or had no kind of background knowledge of anything to do with the thyroid or autoimmunity, they would not be able to receive the information from my higher self that like, hey, it is an autoimmune, it is a Hashimoto's or thyroid, hypothyroidism issue. Like, you need to look into that, push the doctors harder, like have more testing done, because there is something going on there. So if someone, and the same for like, if I have never heard, if you come to me and you're like, I don't know, I've got these symptoms, like, can you check with my higher self and see like what might I be missing? And I've never heard of the thing that's actually going on with you, then I'm not going to be super helpful, because I might be able to confirm like, yeah, there's something, and maybe it's within this chakra region or whatever. Like, I can definitely like look in a little bit, but if I don't have an awareness or a frame of reference of the actual thing going on, then I'm not going to be able to name that for you. And that is why it is so important that whenever you're seeking a read on something specific, like maybe it's relationships, maybe it's health, maybe it's abundant, like financial abundance, or it could be about so many different topics, past life stuff. You want to pick someone who specializes in something like that topic, because that's going to get you your best bet for your higher self being able to translate or transfer. That's the word I'm looking for. Transfer that information to that person, and for them to be able to understand it and then communicate it to you. It's because, again, we can only receive information that we like know what it is. And the higher self is so intelligent because it communicates to us only things that we will understand and be able to then relay to the person receiving the reading. So that is another reason why I am like just absolutely obsessed with everything I'm learning from medical astrology, because health and body ailments and body reflections and all like healing dis-ease in the body at the root cause is like the thing I am most passionate about. Like, that is the thing I would just love to talk about all day, every day. And so as I get further into this medical astrology journey, I am really, really, really broadening my awareness and my knowledge of all the things within the body. And then also as well, like how it can how the birth chart can indicate a tendency towards certain different things. So that's going to make me an incredible match for someone who wants to have an intuitive reading specifically about health and the body. And that is not something that everyone can provide, the same way that like relationship stuff, not everyone is going to have the best frame of reference. Like if they've never had a healthy relationship or they've never manifested their partner or whatever, like probably isn't going to be the most effective relationship reading for you. Like maybe it will still, because that's a topic that's a little bit more like transferable than health, like because the body is so specific, but you get what I'm saying. So definitely ask those questions. Like whenever you're looking for someone, you're inviting someone into your energy, which is so precious, and you want to protect it, and you want to make sure, like, am I going to get the absolute highest quality and most scientifically precise and accurate information possible from this person? And if the answer is no, then keep looking. And also you can ask your intuition for any of these, like back to the red flags as well. Ask your intuition, connect with your own higher self and say, hey, is this person of my highest good? Like, is this coach, this mentor, this healer, this intuitive, is this the best person for me to work with? Is this going to serve my highest good, my highest timeline? And see what answer you get. You are your own healer first, okay? You are the magic. Other people can help you find your way back to that magic and your soul blueprint and your essence and your soul pull and all of that. And that is what I absolutely intend to do with every single person that I ever work with in any capacity. That is what I want. I want to lead you back to yourself and your own power. And I don't want you to need me for that. Like I hope to inspire you and teach you what I can from my own like lived wisdom. But at the end of the day, I want you to be dependent on yourself and your own power. And anyone that you choose to work with should feel and do and believe the same, or you probably don't want to work with them. So that's what I have for you today. As a quick reminder, I did release a little free guide, Your Mini Astrology Guide to Period Pain. And I am already seeing the downloads come through on that. And I'm so excited about it. I was looking back through it today after I already published it, and I was just like, damn, this is good. This is so good. And I'm so glad that I thought about it and that I got to be the one to create it. And it's just super enlightening. I hope that it really, really helps you in decoding your own menstrual cycle and just looking at the different placements that can indicate a tendency, not a diagnosis, but a tendency or a susceptibility to certain difficulties within the menstrual cycle or within your womb in general. So just really, really cool and valuable information to have. And it can be really validating. Like, oh, okay, well, no freaking wonder I've been doing all this shit to heal and balance my hormones and my estrogen dominance and my detox pathways and, do all the things. And I'm still struggling on certain fronts. And it's like, okay, this is just another key, another piece to the puzzle that once you can start to decode it and start to make sense of it, you can be more targeted in healing at the root, which is what we always want to do. We don't want to be like putting band-aids on stuff. Like Western medicine is all about putting band-aids on stuff and, just take an NSAID, take a Tylenol, which like, I'm not going to lie, I do take some Tylenol sometimes, but which quick PSA, if you are going to take like a pain reliever, like an over-the-counter pain reliever. I just recently learned this from my naturopath because Aleve or naproxen used to be my go-to. Like that was the thing that helped me the most with menstrual cramps. And that is actually like so incredibly damaging to your gut and your gut lining. Like even, she said like even taking it like 1 or 2 times can literally cause leaky gut, which is really bad. So just letting you know, just passing on that little nugget of information, Tylenol is a better option. It's still like obviously not amazing. You don't want to do it more than you absolutely have to, but I just wanted to pass that little nugget of information along. So anyway, link to download that free period pain guide is of course going to be in the show notes, as well as the link to download Mercury Medicine. That is your nervous system codes, completely personalized guide for you to look up your specific placements that are in control of the nervous system and see, okay, what do I need? What does my specific system need to regulate? Because half of us been out here doing these things that we see on Instagram and that we see from, you know, just the trendy stuff that's going around. And we're like, okay, why is this not working? Like, why is my nervous system still not regulated? Well, you could be doing something that works super well for someone else, but not for you. And we don't want to be wasting our time like that. Ain't nobody got time for that. So the link to download Mercury Medicine will also be in the show notes. And I do have a secret little gift to my podcast listeners. I'm not sharing this on Instagram because this is just for you if you're listening to this. So if you want 20% off of Mercury Medicine, there is a code that I have for you, which is podcast. Just type that in and you will be able to get 20% off of Mercury Medicine. And I will put that code as well in the show notes in case you forget. So, all right, let's close it. Let's see how long. 25. Oof. Okay. Well, you just get basically 2 full-length episodes this week. How about that? How about that? All right. Well, I hope that you have an amazing rest of your week, and I will talk to you soon. If this episode sparked something in you, share it with a friend who needs it. Take a screenshot, post it to your Instagram story, and tag me at Intuitively Sydney. That's SIDNEY. I would love, love, love to see who's tuning in so I can connect with you and celebrate you. Have an amazing week, and I will talk to you next Tuesday.